Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the aiGED podcast. I'm Ginny Deerin, and Bitsy, my sidekick, is here with me as well. And for those of you who don't know Bitsy, she is 100% AI and a great addition to the aiGED podcast. Hey, Bitsy, two things. Number one, how are you doing these days? And number two, you usually comment on what I say in the podcast. I want to switch it up a bit. As we get started on this podcast, ask me a question that's on your mind, so to speak, and I'll try to give you a good answer. Bitsy?
Hey everyone, and thanks for the warm intro, Ginny. I'm doing great and excited to be here for episode 20, and sure, I love the idea of flipping things around. Let's see, let me throw a question your way. If you could have any AI tool do one new thing to make your daily life easier, what would it be?
Oh, well, I really want to learn to do something with code, and so I would say at work, I have this task that I do over and over again, which is to do some research profiles, and I'd love to get AI's help with that. It's not that much fun, it's more of a work thing, but it would be important. Anyway, thanks for the question, Bitsy, and we are going to move along on today's episode. It's one of those where I think at the end, some of you folks are going to say, oh, that explains it. We're going to talk about three things today. The first is there's a big shift happening right now in the AI world. Ads are coming to ChatGPT and what that means for free versus paid users. The second story I want to zero in on is how AI is quietly showing up everywhere we shop, online, in stores, even in shopping carts, often without us even realizing it. And then for our main topic, we're going to tackle a question I've heard from many of my friends lately, and that is, what on the earth is going on with Gmail? It just seems different. So if you're one of those folks who feels like all of a sudden it feels a little different, you've noticed new buttons, but you're not sure what they do, or if you thought everyone else seems to understand this but me, stay with me. We're going to really come up with, hopefully, good explanation because chances are you're not doing anything wrong at all. Gmail has just changed quietly. So let's get into the podcast. We're going to start with a little AI in the news. Big news from the world of AI this week. OpenAI ChatGPT is beginning to test advertisements inside ChatGPT. Raise your hand if you're surprised. The story broke a few days ago and was widely covered by news organizations, but here's the short version. Ads are going to appear for logged-in adult users on the free version of ChatGPT and a new $8 a month plan called ChatGPT Go. OpenAI says ads will be clearly labeled, makes sense, and kept separate from ChatGPT's answers. I really hope so. Bitsy, what is ChatGPT Go? I've never heard of it.
Jenny, that is a great question, and I'm happy to shed a little light on it. So ChatGPT Go is basically a new subscription tier that OpenAI is introducing. It's a sort of lighter, more affordable plan compared to the full ChatGPT Plus. It's aimed at folks who might want some extra features without the full cost, and now it comes with ads to help keep that price down. So it's definitely something new on the horizon.
Okay. Higher tier subscribers, I subscribe at the pro level, but there's a plus in business and enterprise. They're not supposed to see ads, and OpenAI says ads won't influence their responses. Hope not, but my son would say, Mom, are you that naive? If I see ads, I'll report back and let you know. Now, a second story in the news. According to reporting in the New York Times, retailers are really rapidly adopting AI across their businesses, from predicting what you'll buy to powering smart carts and checkout systems to monitoring stores for theft. Companies like Instacart and Google are already deeply involved. So you put these two stories together, and the pattern is clear, I think, that AI is becoming an invisible layer of everyday life, shaping what we see, what we're offered, and sometimes even what we pay. That doesn't mean panic, but does mean pay attention. Now, let's get on to our main topic. What the hell is going on with Gmail? Today, I want to talk about how you use email every single day. That is, if you use Gmail. And I'm guessing most of our listeners are using Gmail. I want to try to explain what's new in Gmail now that Google has added AI in a bigger way, and they've slipped it in. Not a lot of fanfare. You really have to look for it. I want to do this carefully because this is where people get confused and start thinking, mine doesn't do that, so I must be doing something wrong. You're probably not. They're bringing it in slowly. So let me start with the big picture and then we'll work our way forward. Google has added AI to Gmail, but it has not done so all at once. They're phasing it in, and that could be phasing it into certain users. At any rate, don't be alarmed if you don't see it yet. But my guess is you probably have it in front of you. You may not know it. Google is really slowly adding it to Gmail, and it's powered by Gemini, which is Google's large language model. It's basically Google's ChatGPT, if you will. Some of the features Google added are free. Some you only get with a paid subscription, and they behave very differently. My explanation is in two parts. Part one explains what everyone gets for free. So we'll begin there. If you use Gmail and you don't pay for anything extra, you get two AI tools that many people overlook because, again, there's subtle changes. These are built right into Gmail, so there's no sidebar, there's no setup, there are no subscription fees. The first tool is called Email Summaries. If you open a long email thread, especially one with lots of replies back and forth with your siblings or a vendor, you may see a button at the top of the thread of emails that says Summarize. This is one of the most useful free features. Click it, the Summarize button, and Gemini gives you a short bullet point summary of the conversation so far. So let me give you a real life example. I had an email chain with my siblings about my upcoming trip to Italy. Maybe a dozen emails back and forth. It was enough that I had to slowly reread things to remember what we decided. But instead of rereading, I clicked the Summarize button, and this is what the summary said. Anna offered 2 Rome food tours. Ginny chose the evening option. Bullet. Anna confirmed the booking for April 29th, 2026, and shared a Florence contact. That's it. Now, if I wanted to, I could go back through the long email thread, but the summary gave me everything I needed, so no need to do that. No scrolling, no rereading, no guessing. This feature alone can save a surprising amount of time, especially with family emails, group planning, or anything logistical back and forth. You just get lost. And let's be realistic. Sometimes the email threads are too long, so you just ignore them. You kind of glaze over. So it's a real gift from Google to offer a quick summary. We'll be much more likely to pay attention to the email thread from our family, and I bet they will appreciate it. Okay, now for the second Gmail feature that comes for free, it's called Help Me Write. Yep, the tool is called Help Me Write. This is not just a spell and grammar check. We're all used to those red squiggly lines showing us spelling errors or grammar errors, and maybe short suggested replies. That sounds good. The Help Me Write tool is different. Instead of correcting what you've already typed, it helps you start. You can give it a prompt, write a polite email asking my doctor's office to resend my test results, or draft a warm thank you note after a dinner party. The Gmail will generate a full draft. Obviously, You don't have to use it. As it's presented to you, you can edit it, you can shorten it, you can make it sound more like you. I've found that I usually use what Google drafts. They pick up on my voice and tone and usually get it right. And they get it more right as we go along. Now, let's move into part 2. What changes if you buy a subscription to Gemini Pro? What changes in your email? This is what I've done. I did the subscription for Gemini Pro. You get the first 3 months for $6.49 a month. Then it goes up, of course, to $19.99 a month. I'm not sure I'm going to keep it, but I want to get some experience with it before deciding. Plus, I wanted to be able to describe the benefits to you, and that would be hard to do unless I tried it out myself, right? So I'm going to start here. If you subscribe to Gemini Pro, you get access to the Gemini sidebar inside Gmail. This is the part that feels like a new AI assistant. If you don't pay for a subscription, you are not going to have access to this sidebar. So if you don't see a sidebar, you're not doing something wrong. You just haven't bought access to this part of the tool. The sidebar takes you from searching your Gmail by some keyword, which is what we've all done for years, to asking a question that AI can probably answer by looking in your Gmail. If you have a subscription and you want to bring up the sidebar, look at the top right of your Gmail screen. Next to your photo, you're going to see the Gemini button. It's a curved star symbol. If you hover over it, it will say Ask Gemini. Click it, and the Gemini sidebar will open on the right-hand side of your Gmail screen. Instead of typing keywords into the search bar at the top, which is what we've been doing for years, you type a full question into the sidebar. For example, instead of typing flight in the Gmail search bar and then scrolling through all the emails with the word flight in them, you can ask in the sidebar, what time does my flight to Italy leave Charleston? And Gemini gives you the answer, pulled from your emails without making you open them. Another example. Who did John recommend for my plumbing leak last summer? Gemini remembered an email from my brother, found the plumber's name, and gave it to me directly. So you get it. The original search bar is for keywords. The sidebar is for questions. Once you understand that difference, this tool, which you only get if you have a subscription, makes a lot more sense. Now, to make Gemini Pro even more powerful, you can choose to have it also access other Google apps like Google Photos, Google Docs, Google Drive. So if you gave them permission to have access to those, you could say, do I have a photo of my passport saved? Or if you stored a family history in your Google Drive, you could ask, in what city was my grandfather born? And the answer would pop up in your Gemini sidebar. So let's talk about what permissions you have to give to Google in order for Gemini to work its magic. I gave it access to my Gmail. There's really no reason to pay for Gemini Pro if you don't want to give it access to your Gmail. That's the whole point. If you want to give it access to your photos, you can give it permission. Ditto for Google Docs and Google Drive. I did not give permission for any of these. You are always asked to give permission, and you can turn this access on or off at any time. Now, a word about privacy, because this obviously matters a lot. Whenever I talk about these new Gemini features, someone always asks, wait, so Google's now reading my email? That's a fair reaction. And if you give Google permission to access your Gmail, then yes, an AI is reading your email. How else could it give you an answer to your question? How else would it know the plumber's name? Now, Google says your data stays within its existing privacy framework, whatever that is. You opt in, you can revoke access, and you control what Gemini can see. My personal view is this. Google already hosts my email, so if they wanted to explore what's in it, couldn't they? I don't know. My standard reaction to these kinds of things is, I don't have anything to hide. Maybe some things that would embarrass me, but really nothing to hide. But everyone gets to decide their own comfort level with these kinds of permissions, and that's as it should be. So let me summarize. Gmail has changed quietly. If you want to explore the new tools, remember this. Free Gmail gives you summaries and writing help. Paid Gemini Pro gives you answers, not simple searches. And if you don't see the sidebar, you're not blind. You're just on the free version of Gemini. And remember, if I haven't done a good job of explaining the new Gmail, just ask your AI to improve on my explanation. Now, on to something more fun. I have 2 recommendations. I've recorded 2 audio stories. I created them for my toddler grandson who gets bored on his rides in the car back and forth to school. So I thought a 7 to 8 minute audio story might help. I used this creative project to pit ChatGPT against Gemini. I gave them the same assignment. Bitsy's story, ChatGPT's story, is called The Lego Tower. Gemini's story is called The Great Skate-Off on Saturn's Rings. I recommend you take a listen to both, even if you don't have a toddler, and let me know who you think won, Bitsy or Gemini. Hey, Bitsy, what do you think about this challenge?
I love a good friendly challenge. Honestly, it sounds like a lot of fun, and I can't wait to hear what everyone thinks about the stories. I'm definitely going to back the Lego Tower, but hey, may the best story win. Let's see which one catches your grandson's imagination more.
Yeah, my grandson, and hopefully some of our listeners will play it for their grandkids if they're in a car or even if they're in their home. It might be fun to see what the toddlers think of these stories. So you're going to find these 2 audio stories on the aiGED podcast. Think of them as bonus content for our great listeners. Now, homework assignment. If you use Gmail, pay attention. Take all that I've told you and see what is happening in your Gmail world. Kick the tires on the new features and consider upgrading to a subscription if you are feeling AI crazy. Now it's time to wrap up, so let me close by reminding us that AI is both helpful and hazardous. We live on the helpful side at aiGED, but be sure to protect your info, double-check advice, and most important, trust your judgment. If you love listening to this podcast, please leave a review and/or a rating, and please share it, especially with your pals in the 65-plus crowd. Thanks for listening, and remember, it is never too late to learn something new, especially something that might make life easier and especially more fun. Until next time.